So people have been asking me, what are your thoughts on WandaVision? WandaVision. It was so huge. It had a huge budget. Premiere on Disney Plus streaming service. It was one of the biggest shows. It was supposed to be an event for Marvel. Because it was its first Disney Plus show, and it was the beginning of Phase 4. You guys, I don't know if you clicked into this video and you're like, okay, I already know AJ's thoughts on WandaVision. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even know my thoughts on WandaVision, so I don't know how this video is gonna go. I'm just gonna start talking about it. I'm just gonna start ranting and just getting my thoughts out there. So I don't even know where this is gonna go. I might end this video like, I freaking love WandaVision, or I might end this video with, it was the worst thing that MCU has ever put out. But I'm torn at this point. So I'm just going to talk about it, discuss it, my thoughts, give you my thoughts. And yeah, let's just get into it. So let's go. So essentially, this series was a Wanda Maximoff origin story. That's what it was intended to be. During all these discussions and things I've been having with folks and friends, people that are really big fans of the MCU, people that are, kind of dabble in the MCU, but like are not all in it. And, I kind of get like a general consensus that it was, well, general consensus is a little redundant, but a consensus around the board that the series is good. And I think I can agree with that. The series is good. I have, in the past, when I talk about it, just like brought up a lot of the flaws and things that I didn't care for about it. But like in retrospect, the series is good. And I also, in those, little conversations or discussions I've had about it, I always say that I'm on the fence about it because there are things that I really, really loved. Even in the finale, which is probably my least favorite episode, even in the finale, I enjoyed a lot of different aspects, and my heart was pumping and I was all in. I went into this series not really caring for Paul Bettany's Vision. I didn't really care for Vision. I didn't like his character. He was just kind of like there. His appearance in Infinity War, his first appearance in, not in Infinity War, his first appearance in Age of Ultron was fantastic. I thought he had an amazing opener, an amazing entrance into this world. And then in Infinity War, that was it pretty much. Infinity War, Civil War and Infinity War, I was just like, this man is a little annoying. Like, he doesn't really bring as much to the table as I thought. I don't know if he was completely like not likable, or he wasn't a good written character. His character was written not well or anything, but I think I had a lot more expectations for that character than what they gave me in those films. So going into WandaVision, I did not care for Vision. I didn't care for him. I didn't really understand Wanda and Vision's whole relationship. It was weird to me. It was very forced, felt like. And with the films, I don't know about the comics. I'm not talking about the comics. I'm talking about the films. And this is full spoilers, so I'm going to be talking about WandaVision, and I'm going to be talking about the episodes, as they came about, and like in detail, what I thought about them. So there are spoilers in this video. So in saying that, Wanda really was one of my favorite Avengers. I really enjoy Wanda, but she was on the back burner. And the show did a really good job from taking this character that was kind of on the back burner and bringing her to the forefront. And I really liked that. I liked her character arc. What the show really meant was, she was, grieving about, losing a loved one, which in a relationship that I didn't really care for. So that kind of like took away from it as well. I didn't really care about Wanda and Vision's relationship, even though, they were in love and You know, she had to destroy the Mind Stone. Thanos rewound time and took the Mind Stone out of Vision's forehead and all that. And it just was like, do I care about their relationship that much? I didn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't care about it until this series. And I think it was really a lot of the acting by Elizabeth Olsen. Paul Bettany brought it during this series. And I wasn't expecting that at all. I was not expecting Paul Bettany to, you know, bring it the way he did. I apologize if this rant / discussion is all over the place. I'm gonna try to keep it, you know, chronological and go kind of in order. So the first 2 episodes, we are given something that was very abstract, very bold and ambitious for the MCU, because we never seen anything like this. We never got put in a different world, a different mind state, as, you know, what we got in Westview. And that was very intriguing to me. I loved that aspect, that it was not something we've seen before. MCU constantly gives us things that we've seen before, and things that are just like not as, you know, intriguing after a while. So once we, you know, see, you know, this repetition. So starting off, it was strong. Even though the episodes were a little slow moving as far as the plot is concerned, the series, you know, started strong with the concept. The concept was very strong. And as the series progressed, it phased out a little bit. And I think that was on purpose, but it also makes me feel a little torn because, you know, if you're going to have this concept, stick with it. Make sure it is solid. And, you know, if you're going to do something that's this ambitious, stick with it. Don't, you know, push it to the side, you know, later. And I feel like that's kind of what they did. Also, I was getting a little tired of the sitcoms. I enjoyed seeing them. I enjoyed seeing the production, but I was also ready to get on with the content and get on with the mystery and giving us answers, you know? So we get episode 3 and she has the twins and it is in color. We get, you know, more answers, a little bit more, you know, this mystery box is opening a little bit. But by episode 4, we get that MCU feel. We get that cinematic feel. It's not sitcom-esque as much anymore. We see that, but it's kind of like split into 2 different shows. I mean, it might be a reach, but I can kind of see parallels between that and Scarlet Witch and her astral form, but that's on in the future of the series. So the first 3 episodes, pretty solid with the concept, a little slow moving with the plot, and then we get into episode 4. Enjoy it. Still wondering where we're going with things with Monica Rambeau, and Monica is a decent character. She didn't seem to end up having that much to do with the story and plot towards the end of the series, but it was a introduction to Monica, pretty much. We got introduced to her in Captain Marvel, but it wasn't anything like this. So moving on to episode 5 and 6, we got, you know, the Halloween episode. We got Pietro showing up and things like that. Evan Peters from the Fox X-Men, and yo, the way that panned out really makes me upset.
Ralph Boner?
Boner.
It makes me kind of have trust issues a little bit with this series and just MCU in general. I think that might be the point. Like, don't get your expectations up so high for something that might happen, fan theories and things like that. But a lot of things were pointing to multiverse, and a lot of talk has been, you know, done about multiverse and things like that. The way that Pietro was brought in, and Agatha Harkness, aka Agnes, the nosy neighbor, you know, is behind everything, pulling all the strings, and Pietro is included in that. And it's just like a little bit sloppily written to me, or just kind of like trolling yourself. I feel like MCU kind of trolled themselves in that aspect. Moving on to episode 7, we get Jimmy Woo and Darcy as well as kind of, you know, main characters. Darcy's character was brought into the Hex, and it was just like not satisfying. Her ending was not satisfying at all to me. her being brought into the show, I enjoyed it while it was happening, and then when I found out what she was actually used for, it made it feel like a letdown. It made me feel let down that her character wasn't as important as we thought she was going to be, and that was kind of like Monica as well at the end. So that's one reason why the last episode probably is my least favorite, because the show set up so many things, and the last episode was supposed to bring it all in and wrap everything together, and it just didn't. So we got that episode 7, which one was that? That was the Modern Family / The Office interview type episode sitcom, and that was probably my least sitcom-esque episode. I really enjoyed the Halloween one, but the least favorite of mine probably was the Modern Family one, because the comedy didn't really hit for me like the other ones did. And it also felt like a lot of fluff with Darcy and Vision in the truck together. She's explaining everything to him that we already know as viewers, but she's explaining everything to him, and it's just kind of like, how does she know all that? Like, does she have the Blu-ray of Infinity War back at her house? My buddy Matt says that from Basic Entertainment. But like, does she like collect the movies and like watch them? How does she know everything? Like, that's just not really explained. It's kind of like far-fetched a little bit. But yeah, Darcy, like, that's when her character started to decline in this particular series. It's just, we got that she came back in the finale just to take down Hayward, and it just felt like plot device, like really to move the plot along. It didn't feel genuine, and it didn't feel interesting enough for MCU. I kinda am like skipping a little bit around, but I haven't talked about my all-time favorite episode of the series. Episode 8, when Agatha kind of gets into Wanda's mind and, kind of forces her to go to the past and really understand how she got these powers, how she, like, it showed her family, Ma and Pa, I don't know really what she called them, but like her parents, that showed them, and showed young Pietro, how they survived this, bombing, but the parents didn't survive, and they see the missile, it says Stark on it, and, it's been talked about, but we didn't ever see it, but seeing it really helped me understand her origin. It really gave purpose to the character, and, when they went back to the memory where Wanda and Paul Bettany's Vision is sitting on the bed and having a discussion, it really made me feel more for their relationship. So, I think that really helped as well. Moving on to actually talking about the finale with White Vision and regular Vision fighting, it was all like lackluster to me, because I feel like it was amped up so much, and they left it to like the very last episode. I feel like if we saw White Vision a little bit in the 8th episode, actually doing something that had high stakes, not necessarily killing people, but maybe hurting people, a threat of hurting civilization. I think those types of stakes is what this show needed, because it was very contained. It didn't feel like Wanda or Vision was fighting for anything that we necessarily cared about. What they cared about, yes, but what we cared about, like civilization, the universe, the world, if that was at stake, then I think I could have gotten into it a little bit more. And that brings me to my biggest, probably my hugest issue with the series and the villain herself, Agatha Harkness. I really love Catherine Hahn as this character, and that's one reason why it let me down so much, that her character was so one-dimensional. It was not any like background. There was a backstory. It was like a 5-minute backstory about how she used dark magic, and the other witches wanted to take that magic from her. She said, "Nah, we ain't doing that. I got this power. Y'all are done." So that was cool. I loved that. But then, like, where did she come from? Why is she in Westview? Where was she all that time between then and now? Has she been, like, focusing on Wanda? Has she been, like, tracking Wanda harbor this chaos and magic that she has? And the biggest question is what is she gonna do with the chaos magic? They never told us. That was just like really sloppily written because there was no end game for her, end goal for Agatha. You know, what does she want? Like, she wants the chaos magic, but why? Like, what is she gonna do with it? That's what I'm saying. We need stakes for me to care about what's going on. You know, what are the stakes here? Towards the end, she tells Wanda that the runes, if she uses the runes, like, the other person cannot use their power. She just tells her that. But how does Wanda automatically know what the runes are, number one, and how they're used, what symbols to use, how to create the symbols, why it happens? Like, they never give us that, and we don't know how she acquires this power, but she does that when she becomes the Scarlet Witch, towards the end of the finale. And let me tell you, that suit was amazing. The way she came in as, the Scarlet Witch, that's probably my favorite part of the finale. That was probably the only part I really loved about the finale. But moving on to just, kind of talking about Wanda's ending and her future, I think it was gripping how the hex was closing towards the end, and how we, got to see Wanda kind of let go of her grief, because that was really what the show was about. And it kind of wrapped up pretty nicely. It was really messy in there, like towards the middle there, but like it wrapped up pretty nicely, that particular aspect of it. I wish we got to see a lot more of Wanda's power, because we did see things here and there, but for the most part she was like just throwing this chaos magic, just throwing it kind of recklessly. It seemed reckless. She was creating the rooms, but I don't know, like, I wanted to see, like, when she vanished, when she like did something and then vanished, that was like, I was like, so it got me like excited, but I wanted to see more of that type of thing, because we don't really know what Wanda can do. We just know it has to do with magic, and we know it has to do with chaos magic. We have not seen her full potential, and it was getting me really excited and riled up, but it kind of fizzled out, it kind of faded out. And then, at the end, I don't know how I feel about her giving her that persona. She said that it was the role that she chose, to be the nosy neighbor, and she was like, okay, you're gonna be that. And I was just like, this is kind of like inhumane, like making somebody have a different mindset than they actually are, like putting her in like that prison. And it just didn't seem right, but I don't know. It was different. It was different. I didn't have a huge problem with it. It was just like unsatisfying, honestly. Will we see Agatha in the future? I don't know. So we get Wanda at the end in her astral form, somewhere off in the mountains, somewhere like secluded. And I liked that. I really liked that end scene. Monica Rambeau's end scene was just kind of like, okay, who really cares about Secret Invasion? Don't really care that much. But, when it comes out, I'll watch it, whatever. Okay, that's Monica. I know what happened, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But Wanda, in her astral form, Billy and Tommy are still alive, and, in this multiverse or astral plane or wherever they are, and, she's kind of searching for them or whatever. It was decent. I didn't not like it. It just was part of an unsatisfying finale, so it just kind of was a little bit less impactful than I hoped it would have been. But it was a decent wrap up for her character for the show. So, ending my rant / discussion for the show, I will say that it just really hit a lot of emotional beats for me, and it was very enticing and made me feel something for Wanda and Vision's relationship. So they accomplished their job with that, with me at least. Just like as far as the concept and the villain and things like that, it just kind of was lacking for me. It just kind of felt a little sloppy and just didn't work completely for me. So, I'm not going to be, sugarcoating anything anymore. I used to do that kind of thing, and I used to sugarcoat, let people hear what they want to hear and tell them what they want to hear and all that. And I'm done with that. I'm going to tell you what's on my mind, what I actually feel about the series, about the show, and the movies and everything. So I'm gonna be honest, I liked the show, especially watching it week to week. I really liked that. At first, I wanted to binge it. I was like, let me just get all the episodes. And then, as the weeks went by, I enjoyed every Friday sitting down with my wife. Me and my wife watched it together, and I just really enjoyed that, waiting week to week to watch it. Okay, so my score for the series as a whole, I will give it a 8 out of 10, and then I'll give it a B minus. So my thoughts on it. If you don't know my thoughts on it, click the rewind button, go back in the video. But I think I'm pretty much done talking about the series as a whole. Now I do want to kind of get into the episodes and rank each episode, maybe rank the characters, things like that. But talking about the series as a whole, I'm WandaVisioned out. So head down to the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about WandaVision, the show as a whole, each episode. What's your favorite episode? What's your least favorite episode? What's your favorite concept? What's your least favorite concept of the series? Just let me know something. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Twitch, AJREACTS2, all across the board. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.